Welcome everybody to Off the Cuff. I am Adam Banks coming at you live from Paul Brown Stadium here in Cincinnati, Ohio, in the jungle, home of the Cincinnati Bengals. This is exciting, guys. I'm sitting in seat 27. This is where the Cincinnati Enquirer sits. And this is where they write all of their juicy details about the Cincinnati Bengals. I'm in the press room where you hear Bengals radio, you see Bengals TV, all the news stations in Cincinnati broadcast from this room, WCPO, WLWT, etc. So this is just surreal. I can't actually believe that I'm sitting here where all of this takes place. And this being a podcast, you really can't see what I'm doing. You just have to take my word for it. But I will post a picture. I will post a picture of me sitting up here in the press box just to let you know that I'm not pulling your leg because a picture says 1,000 words. This is amazing, guys. I mean, this really is. It really is kind of a cool moment for me in this podcast. It really makes me feel like that Off the Cuff has went to the next level. I mean, we are sitting in a press room of a National Football League team. I mean, this is the NFL we're talking about here. So a lot of people have asked, how in the world did you get up in the press box? How are you doing a podcast from Cincinnati Bengals? I know it's coming. I know that's what you're going to ask. Well, I'll tell you the story. So as you guys know, I'm a pretty ambitious guy, and I really don't like to settle. I like to always think of new ideas that I can do for this podcast. I always want to take the podcast to the next level. I've interviewed great guests, but I've also wanted to broadcast in great places. And what better place to start out than broadcasting right here at an NFL team's home stadium? And this is Paul Brown Stadium. And what I did was I hit up the Bengals radio network and I asked them if I could possibly get a tour of the stadium, and told them of my interest in broadcasting and going into radio, and told them my fascination with radio. And they were intrigued by my email, and they wrote me back and they said, we would love to give you a tour of the stadium, and we will even let you do a podcast live from the press room. And that's what I'm doing. So I'm sitting here, and you guys need to see my view. I'm sitting on the 30-yard line here, and you can see the entire stadium. And this behind me is 100 other chairs. There's probably, I would say, 200 desks here for media members. 200. And there are people from television, there's people from radio, and there's people in print media that sit in this room. And this is where they watch the game. This is where they, take notes, do their thing. And I asked some staff members here, I said, do people drink in here? Are people allowed to drink? And she said, oh yeah, people drink in here. She says, it's up to them if they can focus on their work. And I was like, oh, heck yeah, man. I mean, how ironic that people can actually still drink and smoke in places, especially with all that equipment. But yeah, people actually smoke cigars and everything up in this room. It's quite remarkable. This place is out of control. So I went down on the field a while ago. That AstroTurf down there was, I would say, $100,000 piece of turf. The facility that the Bengals have, I'm telling you, you can't see it because the TV only shows you the field pretty much. But backstage, back behind the field, that's where it's going on. That's where it's happening. There is probably a $10 million workout facility they got. They got a doctor's office, a team doctor's office. They got, just team recreational places to eat, places to chill. Flat screen TVs everywhere, leather sofas everywhere. I mean, it's state of the art, what you would expect for an NFL team. It's great. So, this was kind of brought up on me that I was going to do this podcast in, 48 hours before I decided to, before I got the call back from Cincinnati saying that I could do the show. So I was like, what am I going to do a podcast on? Because it's not like I really know